When does it start?
Restart. Oh, really? Yeah. Awesome. Beautiful. Hey team, welcome to tonight's webinar. So we're trying something a little bit different here and streaming through YouTube. So if you've got any comments, fire them through. Hopefully we can get through to them today. If we don't, we'll certainly follow up with another video, but you'll see a lot more member interaction and member question webinars over the weeks to come. So we've got a few questions from some of our members that we're going to shoot through. Let me quickly introduce the crew. We've got Callum on the end there. We've got Amy in the middle and Alex sitting next to me here. Fantastic. So let's get it started. Now the first question that we got was from a member by the name of Bianca, and her question was what to look for when buying protein powders and protein bars. Now we've all just had a bit of a request bar just to get us all energized for this webinar. So I'll pass this on to Amy. So what are your thoughts on that?
I always think that it's still best to go whole food when possible. Obviously, a protein is always a substitute. So if you are going to, if you do have access to proteins, as in meats, fishes, chickens, etc., always go that first before choosing a protein. But then if you are going to choose a protein, it's all about the quality. So always go for a New Zealand type protein. And also, when you are looking for your proteins, the less ingredients, the better on the package.
What are some stuff that you should completely avoid? Let's say you're reading those ingredients and you see them on there. What are some, red lights? Is like, I can't buy this protein.
One thing that I've found when, especially if we're looking at a mass gaining protein, is looking at what carbohydrates are in there. Yeah. So like a waxy maize is not a good source of carbohydrates. It's cheap. It will work, but it's a cheap source of carbs. So you want to go for something more whole, like rice, something like that, rather than using the mass gainer with something bad quality.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, I think the price as well. I think it's very easy to fall into the trap of going into a supplement store and buying like the most expensive protein, thinking it's a better quality. It's not always the case. Some of the cheaper proteins are actually just as good, and obviously you're going to save you a lot more money in the long run. Also buying in bulk. Okay, like generally, like if you're going in and buying like 500 grams or however much of protein at a time, it's going to cost you a lot more money in the long run, because you do need to use quite a lot of it. It's like something you might use like once or twice a day. So if you can buy it in like a 5 kilo tub or even a 10 kilo tub, it is going to save you a lot of money at a time.
And when you are buying as well, feel free to ask the people at the stores. If you're walking into a reputable store, then they're going to be trained up with that. Their recruitment process is not going to hire just anyone off the street. They're going to have a background in nutrition, have an understanding. So, some of the girls, for example, that might feel a bit intimidated walking into a supplement store, certainly don't. Just walk in and put your hand up and ask for a bit of help. Trust me, they'll be there to help you as well. And if you do see, if you're trying to be sold a girls only type protein, forget it. There's no such thing as a girls type protein and a guys type protein there. Cool. So moving on to the next question, and that question is, can you gain muscle and lose body fat at the exact same time? I'm going to pass this one on to Alex.
No worries. So in short, like scientifically, no, you cannot gain muscle and lose fat at the same time. So the reason is you're either in a gaining state or you're in a losing state. It's either in a gaining state of muscle or fat, so that's called anabolic, in an anabolic state. That'll be gaining fat or muscle. So it's not just muscle that you might be gaining, it could be fat as well. And the opposite scale to that is catabolic. So catabolic is losing muscle or losing fat too. So there's two states that you can either be in, and you can't be in them both at the one time. So you're either gaining or you're losing, whether it's muscle or fat, okay? Now, as an example, when we're looking at clients, like a lot of you guys will probably see on your body scan that over a course of like 2 weeks or so, you might have gained muscle and lost body fat, cool? That means that you might have spent like however long during each day in an anabolic state, and you might have spent some time during that day in a catabolic state as well. So
you can switch between.
You can switch between the two, either in one state or the other. So over the course of like a 2-week period, you might have gained some muscle and you might have lost some fat, because you've been in those two different phases over those 2 weeks. So as an example, I've just got one of my clients here who spent the last 2 weeks. She's lost about 3% body fat, give or take. She's gained 1 kilo of skeletal muscle mass, but she's up 1 kilo. Cool. So that's something to be mindful of too. You can gain a bit of muscle. She's lost body fat, but when she jumped on the scale, she was like, I've gained weight. What's going on?
Yeah.
But obviously, she's just been in those 2 different states over the last 2 weeks.
And I think the key thing to expand on what Alex said as well is not to use scales as the be-all and end-all. We've seen it so many times, guys and girls jumping on the scales. I had one girl this evening where she jumped on the scales, and again, she was she was 2 kilos heavier, but her body fat was exactly the same. She just had put on an increase in lean muscle mass and water from her last scan. So there's so many key indicators that influence that one scale. And you know, we've all kind of almost tuned that we have to jump on the scales and that has to head in the right direction. It's like, no, it doesn't have to. You know, make sure that the coach that you have and the gym that you attend use more than just the scales as a key indicator. Here at RBT, we use quite a plethora of measurable accounts when it comes to centimeters lost, body fat, lean muscle mass gain, strength testing, you know, timed events and things like that. And as well as the scales. So yeah, don't be focused just purely on the scales. That's right. Yeah, fantastic, beautiful. Next question: how much water should I be drinking per day? Very, very common question that we get. And to answer that, we're going to speak to Ames.
So I like to use a basic general rule. For every 30 kilos of body weight you have, it's a litre of water. So for instance, if you weigh 60 kilos, that's 2 litres of water. Now that's if you're not doing any physical activity at all. If you are doing physical activity, for every hour after that, another litre. So you should be drinking a minimum 3 litres. So for most of us, we're looking at between 3 and 4 litres. Obviously, if you're doing other things, like we recommend a lot of saunas and things like that in our gym, you should be drinking even more than that. So a minimum 4 litres for most people. Some key indicators, if you're dehydrated, would obviously be the colour of your urine. The more paler it is, the more hydrated you are. The darker it is, the more dehydrated you are. I'd also recommend carrying bottles of water around with you so you're constantly drinking. The worst thing when you are trying to achieve goals when it comes to training in your body is being dehydrated. Hydration is the most important part of if you're wanting especially to lose body fat, or you're wanting to increase in muscle size or increase in performance, because water, our body requires water. Without water, we wouldn't survive very long at all.
Yeah, exactly. And I think, you know, we were discussing about, you know, some small tips, and as Ames said there, having a water bottle, you know, by your side. Cal?
Yeah, buy a bigger water bottle, guys. It's very easy just to get one of the smaller ones, like a little, like 600 ml bottle. Yeah, get something bigger. So something that you know that you have to drink, say, three or 4 of every day. And it's not easy to track. When you've got these smaller bottles, you literally have to fill them, you know, 6 to 10 times a day to get the daily requirement. So if you have a bigger bottle, it's just easier to track, and you do tend to sip on it a lot more during the day as well.
Make sure that the bottle's BPA free as well. You know, you don't want those toxic chemicals coming off the plastic. So if you're that person that constantly refills just the bottle that they get, yes, you might save a few dollars, but in the long run, it's going to have more of an adverse effect on your health. Some water bottles have a number on the bottom, and that number actually dictates how many times that bottle can be refilled. So to simply save that, drink it once and make sure that you always have your own bigger BPA-free or a metal bottle that you can fill at the ready as well. Fantastic. Well, we're always constantly drinking here, which is fantastic. So the last question that we're going to address today is, why should I split up body parts whilst I'm training? And to answer that one, it's going to be Callum at the end there.
Yeah, cool guys. It's pretty simple. Basically, like for anyone who is doing strength training, you're not getting results while you are in the gym. You're damaging your body. You're ripping your muscles. You're not actually growing when you are training. Okay, so the growing and the results come from when you recover. Okay, so if you're training the same body parts every single day, you're not allowing your body, you're not allowing your muscles to recover fully. So you're not going to get the best result over time. Okay, so the way we structure our strength programs is we'll have a big lift that we will do most days. So it might be a squat or a deadlift or an overhead press, And then that would be paired up with an accessory exercise of the same body part. Okay. So day 1 might be a squat. Day 2 might be an upper body exercise. So in that day 2, we're still training, and we're still training very hard. But we're giving our lower body, which we trained the day before, time to recover. So you know, by the time it comes around to Wednesday or Thursday, where we want to do deadlifts again, you know, we can obviously give that session a lot more and not be sore, and then get the benefit from it. The other thing that was actually asked in the same question is why we don't squat and deadlift on the same day. It's pretty simple as well, guys. Deadlifts are actually, they take a big toll on your body, okay? Especially your nervous system. You probably feel it if you've done like a heavy deadlift session. You feel like you might get the shakes and you might feel quite depleted. And your body takes a long time to recover from like a big deadlift session. So that's why we might tend to do deadlifts towards the end of the week. So you do have that weekend and a good like 2 to 3 days to recover, okay? It doesn't mean that we can't do like variations of a deadlift on other days. So we might do a kettlebell swing, which is a good accessory exercise, which is great just for practicing that hinging pattern. But it's obviously not going to be that same toll on your nervous system as doing a heavy deadlift. So
yeah, just as a bit of an example, Alex, what's the kind of program you're following?
So what I'm following, I like to have 2 days off lower body before I do my deadlift. So I'm following like a strongman program. So my deadlift day is lifting pretty much at my maximum once per week. I tried to do it twice a week. I just couldn't do it. So I got up to my working weight and couldn't lift the working weight without breaking form. So recovery is very important. Like I wouldn't do it on the same day. Yeah, it's not going to happen.
And Ames, what about yourself from a female perspective? You know, a lot of girls might, you know, look at it and be like, oh, I can't do the same program as a guy. What program are you following at the moment?
I usually follow really similar to what we do with our strength programs, because I think it's a great mix up with the body parts, and I also love having the Metcons in between. Essentially, when you're doing barbell training, you're locking up your body. So with the Metcon, you're freeing it up. So it's actually, I know everyone hates Metcons or they dread Metcon day, but it's actually benefiting you not only in it's cardio benefits and for our cardiovascular system, but it's unlocking our body. It's making us move freely. We're running, opening up our body, and it's actually preventing injuries as well that can be caused from locking up your body in the strength training. So please come to your Metcon sessions, because honestly, they'll be all the difference in the long run in regards to not only your performance, but also obviously they're going to give you that extra help in losing that body fat and even helping with gaining muscle, because it's unlocking you so you're not going to get injured. You can train more often.
Fantastic, beautiful. Guys, that's all the time we have for questions today. You know, we want you to ask questions, and I want to challenge you guys to have that expectation on your coaches that you interact with, on the trainers that you see at your gym, whether you're a member at RBT or not. Make sure that you are approaching them, you're challenging them, and you're getting the best out of them as well. Remember, we're all in this industry to help people, and if this short webinar certainly can, then we know that we've had a significant win for the day as well. So, like I said at the start, it won't be the last time that you see us or anyone from RBT answering the questions that you have. So feel free to comment below with any questions, email us, tweet us, Instagram comment, whatever you like. On behalf of Callum, Amy, Alex, and myself, guys, it's good night. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.